This video is brought to you by Green Man Gaming, who are having their biggest sale of the year right now, their Black Friday sale with over 4,000 titles heavily discounted. I'm going to give you my best picks of the sale at the end of the video, so stick around for that, or you can just click the link in the description to find out more. Gamers! Big week on YouTube. Turns out they're removing the dislike counter from videos, meaning that you will no longer be able to see how many people dislike a video, only how many people like it. Finally, it's time to dust off all those scripts I've kept in my bottom drawer, too afraid of publishing owing to the tyranny of the dislike ratio. So please, look forward to my upcoming suite of videos, including I was right about the Marauder, actually, how to upgrade your PS5 memory, featuring that guy from the Verge PC building video, Andy Wilson, Misunderstood Hero, and Destiny 2, It's Good. Wait, that's a video I actually would make. Man, it's crazy how easily that fits in there. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go once again to talk about the hype and the hopelessness, the debonair and the douchebags, the highs and the lows that make up a single week in video games. And believe me when I tell you that there are a lot of lows this week. So let's get started with the lowest of them all, Bobby Kotick. Ever since the state of California brought suit against Activision Blizzard for its entrenched culture of sexism, abuse, and discrimination, Bobby Kotick has been putting on an Oscar-worthy performance, feigning his surprise. He had no idea that this stuff was going on under his watch, but now that he's found out, he's certainly going to do something about it. Wrong. Turns out not only did he know about it, but he participated in it. At least that's what the Wall Street Journal are alleging in a bombshell report that dropped this week. There's a lot of stuff in this article, and all of it is extremely damning. It claims Bobby Kotick personally intervened to stop one Dan Bunting, head of Treyarch Studios, from being sacked after an HR investigation into his alleged sexual harassment recommended he be fired. Incidentally, Dan Bunting only recently left Treyarch. What curious timing. The article claims another employee was sexually assaulted twice, and when the matter was settled out of court, Bobby Kotick failed to inform the company's board. The article would go on to recount a previously revealed story of Kotick threatening an airline hostess who worked aboard his private jet. She was accusing the pilot of sexual harassment, and when things started to get legal, Kotick is alleged to have threatened her by saying, "I'm going to destroy you." That isn't even the most fucked up story. Get this. Bobby Kotick left a voicemail for one of his assistants in which he threatened to have her killed. We know this is true because a statement from Kotick's lawyers this week confirmed it, saying that he deeply regrets the incident. That's not all, folks. Remember that horrendous email that Fran Townsend wrote, dismissing the Californian lawsuit as baseless? The email so bad it caused revolt within the ranks of Activision Blizzard. The email so bad that Fran Townsend had to delete her Twitter account. The email so bad that Bobby Kotick himself described it as tone deaf? Well, guess what? Bobby Kotick fucking wrote that! The Wall Street Journal article confirmed that little tidbit, and apparently now Bobby Kotick regrets that as well. Funny how throwing a woman under the bus was his first instinct in a crisis about how women are being treated at Activision. That's perfect. Speaking of how women are being treated, Jen O'Neill resigned last week. Only 3 months ago, she was appointed the co-leader of Blizzard alongside Mike Ybarra, so the timing of her exit was suspect. Well, turns out that she, and this is genuinely hard to believe, was being paid less than her male counterpart, even though she was doing the same job. She went through a lengthy process of trying to get pay parity, but was rebuffed multiple times, only getting an equal offer after she had resigned. It was too late by that point. Jen O'Neill emailed an Activision lawyer saying, quote, "It was clear the company would never prioritize our people the right way," end quote. In the same email, she described that she had been sexually harassed earlier in her career at Activision Blizzard. Quote, "I have been tokenized, marginalized, and discriminated against," end quote. You'd think that the only possible response to all of this largely undisputed evidence would be for the board to sack Bobby Kotick. So of course the board is standing by Bobby Kotick. They released a truly astounding statement saying, quote, "The board remains confident that Bobby Kotick appropriately addressed workplace issues brought to his attention. The goals we have set for ourselves are both critical and ambitious. The board remains confident in Bobby Kotick's leadership, commitment, and ability to achieve these goals," end quote. Unbelievable. But not so much, because if you look at Activision Blizzard's board, it's just stacked with Bobby Kotick's mates, and they've all been making billions together for the better part of 3 decades, so it's unfair of us to imagine a world where this council of cronies would ever put people before profits. It was perhaps the perfect representation of rules for thee but not for me. Activision Blizzard's staff asked at an all-hands meeting if the new zero-tolerance approach to harassment and cover-ups will be applied to Bobby Kotick. A representative of Activision Blizzard replied that the policy cannot be applied to Bobby because they did did not have evidence, even though they themselves can look to the example of Jen O'Neill's pay disparity, the intervention into Dan Bunting's firing, and the settlement of sexual assault cases years prior. That's some real selective memory right there. The response to this from outside Bobby's cadre of crooks has been universal dismay and disdain. Over 1,500 Activision Blizzard employees have signed a petition to have Bobby Kotick removed, and over 100 employees staged a walkout, which sounds like a small number, but this was organised only a few hours after this article went public, and most Activision Blizzard staff are still working from home at this point. A small percentage of Activision Blizzard shareholders have also demanded his removal, though sadly not nearly enough. The most forceful response, and the one that is most likely to shift the needle here, came from PlayStation head Jim Ryan and Xbox boss Phil Spencer. In an extremely rare public intervention, both bosses said they were extremely concerned about the allegations, and they were re-evaluating their relationship with Activision in light of them. This is as clear a signal as they can possibly send that they want Bobby out, and given the clout that these console manufacturers have, everyone has to listen, including Bobby. Just yesterday, Kotick showed the first signs that it might be time to face the music. He's reported to have told close associates that he would consider leaving if he cannot fix Activision Blizzard's culture problems quickly, which he obviously can't do because he's the fucking problem. So hopefully this is just him softening up ground for his impending departure. Still, this is far from a lock, as it's pretty clear that Kotick has no shame and may just choose to take the entire ship down with him rather than acknowledge any wrongdoing. I know this was a big block. Actually, this is the longest single block in the history of this show, but this guy recently made a blood sacrifice of J. Allen Brack, and Brack's rap sheet wasn't half as damning as all of this. The double standard here is astounding, or at least it would be if we expected any different from Bobby Kotick. This guy is the CEO of the second largest gaming company in the United States, and he has personally contributed to a culture of harassment and cover-up. He must go, and recounting this story to you in the most complete way I can is the only real contribution I can make toward that important outcome. So I will, no matter how many words it takes me. As all-consuming as the Activision Blizzard drama might feel, there are other things going on in the world of video games, and many of them are good. So let's talk about one of those stories right now. Halo Infinite. Its multiplayer released last week, and I just want to take a moment to celebrate that, because it's gone super well, and that's some wholesome shit. I just love this. Though leaked prior, the announcement that the multiplayer would arrive earlier than planned was a welcome surprise. Since then, fans have been absolutely hammering 343 servers, but they've generally held up. I certainly have had some server issues, but on the whole, the game has worked remarkably well, and it's largely free of bugs, and it runs pretty well, although those on low-end PCs are having some trouble, and it's just super fun. Like, it's just so fucking fun to play Halo, and pretty much everyone agrees. Social media has been awash with gushing praise for the title all week, culminating over the weekend in a low-stakes Halo tourney that managed to pull in a few 100,000 Twitch viewers and produced this little gem. It hasn't been perfect though. Anyone who's played multiplayer will have experienced firsthand what I'm pretty confident is the worst battle pass in the history of battle passes. I think if I played 8 hours every day for the next 40 years, I might hit like level 30 on this thing. 343 have publicly acknowledged the issue though, and have even gone so far as to make minor changes this week. Still, more changes are needed to get this progression model up to scratch, so we're just gonna have to wait for those. Regardless, I think it's a testament to the quality of this product that even despite these glaring issues, fans are still overjoyed that Halo is back. You know what else is back? Battlefield 2042. Oh, Battlefield.
We are on the top of the tallest building. Look at that. Tank, random hovercraft just flying. The fuck is this? The fuck is this?
With Battlefield 2042 now fully released, we can all stand back and take in just how much of a disaster this release is. My very limited time with the game during the review window showed me some of these issues, but I never could have anticipated just how bad things would be when millions of people began exposing just how busted this game is. In addition to horrendous PC performance, laughable bugs, and terrible netcode, 2042 is being lambasted for just how much of a regression it is compared to previous Battlefield releases. One post in the Battlefield 2042 subreddit garnered more than 24,000 updates, as it listed just how many features had been removed from this game, making this feel like DICE's first swing at a new IP rather than an established franchise with decades worth of features and design work behind it. The fan backlash has been merciless. On Metacritic, the game currently has a user rating of 2.3, but that's just review bombers, right? People who didn't even purchase the product and are just piling on for the meme. There's no way that actual paying customers would rate it that low. Or what's that? The game's 27% mostly negative on Steam, making it one of the 10 most disliked games in the history of Steam. Good job, Andy. Have another bonus, mate. It's generally sad to see a once great franchise reduced to this. Battlefield isn't like COD. People actually like Battlefield, or at least they did. To see EA DICE chase trends, cut features, and push out a game that everyone knew wasn't ready just burns any goodwill we might have wanted to extend to them here. The top 5 executives at EA make $80 million a year between them, enough to employ 800 actual developers at $100,000 a year. You could have sacked those 5 people, delayed 2042 for 12 months, and you might have a decent Battlefield game on your hands at that point. Instead, Andy and his buddies get to buy another yacht. But please, do go on about how EA should be charging us $70 for next-gen games and how microtransactions are absolutely essential. Please, go on, please. Speaking of DICE, we got some word about a potential Star Wars Battlefront 3 this week, and it was not good news. Freelance journalist with numerous reliable sources at DICE, Tom Henderson, claimed this week that there was a pitch for Battlefront 3, but it was shot down due to licensing costs. Quote, "It got turned down because it takes 20% more sales to make the same money," said one past developer, end quote. Henderson went on to claim that there are currently 2 Star Wars games currently in development at EA, but they were more single-player focused, and that many of the key Battlefront staff had since left DICE, making a Battlefront sequel even less likely. Big shame. The monetization of that game was a total meme, but the game itself was good, and it would have been nice to see that franchise continue. Henderson also had things to say about the missing in action Beyond Good and Evil 2, currently, maybe, hopefully, still in development at Ubisoft. Henderson described a situation where the game is currently facing a development crisis owing to a lack of direction after the departure of its creative director, Michael Ansel. It may be terminal. Quote, "Although the game hasn't been canned officially, some developers believe it's a matter of time before it is," end quote. This bums me out because I would love for this game to eventually release, but it does track with some of the stuff that I've heard about how development is going and how Ubisoft's evolving strategy seems inconsistent with the game. If I were a betting man, I'd bet pretty large against this one ever seeing the light of day. Alright, let's circle back on that GTA remaster disaster. You know, the one where they couldn't get a 20-year-old game running at a solid 30 FPS on next-gen hardware? Yeah, that one. This week, Rockstar put out a weak-ass apology where they were like, didn't meet our quality standards, yada yada yada. They promised fixes, sure, but more important, they said they'd be re-uploading the classic versions of their game to their shitty PC launcher, but not to Steam, where people would actually like to buy it. So this is not a win, this is just Rockstar doubling down on their bullshit. By the way, if you think this saga is all but over, then I've got news for you. Get ready to do this all over again with GTA 4. Recently, Take-Two have started DMCA striking and threatening legal action against community mods built in GTA 4, similar to what they did prior to the release of the GTA Trilogy remaster. It lines up with recent rumors that a GTA 4 remake is in development, a package that will also include the Liberty City Stories DLC. It's nice to think that Rockstar might have learned a thing or two from this disastrous release, but their current actions seem to pretty clearly indicate otherwise. Hey, check this shit out. This is Project L. Kind of an unfortunate name, to be honest, but I think it's like one of those ironic names, like when you call a really big dude tiny, or you call Todd Howard big man. It's endearing. Anyway, this is a fighting game set in the League of Legends universe, and it's just one of the many, many games that Riot have in development at the moment as they seek to expand the universe they have carefully built over the past decade. We all probably know about the exceptional Arcane series on Netflix, but outside of that, Riot are working on a large-scale MMO, a 2D side-scroller starring Echo, and a third-person adventure game featuring Nunu, and heaps of other shit as well, actually. It's great because all of these experiences give us a way to experience the incredible world of League of Legends without ever having to play League of Legends, which is just so important because nobody should have to play League of Legends. Nobody. So, what got announced or delayed this week? Well, biggest reveal of the week was Multiverses, the Smash-inspired fighter from Warner Brothers. This is exactly what it looks like on the tin, a platform fighter where Batman can kick the shit out of Bugs Bunny, while Arya Stark and Gandalf look on and be like, This shit is weird. The game is promising to support both cross-play and cross-progression, as well as day one dedicated service for the best possible netcode performance. Hope we get some of those servers in Australia. Looking at you, Lost Ark. By the way, this is a true story. When this was revealed, Larry David started trending on Twitter because so many people were asking to have him added to the roster, and I cannot think of a character in any universe that I would love to see added to a fighting game more than Larry David. Multiverses doesn't have a release date yet, but they're doing technical tests soon, so sign up on their website. HELLBLADE: SENUA'S Sacrifice got some very tasty PC updates this week. The game now features enhanced visuals, DirectX ray tracing, NVIDIA DLSS, and AMD FSR support, as well as new accessibility options. These changes are live right now and are of course free updates to anyone that already owns the game. Grim Dawn is a little long in the tooth now, but it's still one of the most beloved ARPGs available on PC. Well, good news for console owners, it's coming to Xbox. On December 3rd, the definitive edition will arrive on the Green Machine, a package that features the base game as well as all currently available DLC. No word on PlayStation or Switch ports yet, but you can't imagine they'd be too far behind. Star Wars: The Old Republic. Now that's a name I've not heard for a long time. A long time. To this day, I don't think I've ever been more hyped for a video game release than I was for SWTOR, and the game certainly delivered during its leveling experience, but its endgame was critically flawed, and as a result the title never reached the heights that many had hoped for it. Still, it endured, going free to play and continuing to foster a loyal core community. The game's had quite a few expansions, and its next big one, titled Legacy of the Sith, just got a release date of December 10th. It adds new areas to explore, overhauls some game systems and the UI, and also introduces a new approach to combat classes and progression. If you haven't played this yet and you're a Star Wars fan, I actually really do recommend checking this out. The stories on offer during the leveling experience are top tier stuff, and I think you'll enjoy them. Here's a weird one. Alien Isolation is being re-released, but this time on mobile. On the train, no one can hear you scream. Oh wait, yes they can. So sitting next to someone playing this on their iPhone is going to make for a very interesting commute to work. I have no idea why anyone would want to play this horror masterpiece on their phone. It's like watching Blade Runner 2042 on your Nintendo DS. Anyway, you can do it if you want to, or at least you will be able to, when the game hits Android and iOS on December 16th. Sifu, the upcoming martial arts game from the people who made Absolver, that got a rare release date bump forward. It was originally meant to launch on February 22nd alongside Horizon Forbidden West and Elden Ring and Destiny 2 Witch Queen, but then they were like, maybe that's a bad idea. Now the game will launch on February 8th. Very clever footwork to duck those February haymakers right there. Last announcement of the week made me very happy. Hunt Showdown is getting a live-action TV show. Hunt is fucking sick, and playing through Battlefield 2042's Limp Dick Hazard mode reminded me just how much a single round of Hunt will put hair on your chest. Few games are as tense and terrifying as this one, so much so that I think it scares away more than a few people, meaning that the title has never hit the mainstream in a way it deserves. Hopefully a TV show will help fix that, as its Bayou, Voodoo, Bounty Hunter aesthetic is great fodder for TV drama. The show will appear exclusively on an upcoming streaming platform called Binge, which is targeting gamers and pop culture nerds, not unlike ourselves. We can probably expect the show to hit in 2023. Two delay announcements this week, or at least delay adjacent. In an interview with MPFirst.com, Dying Light 2 developer Techland came out this week and said that there is zero chance of the game copping another delay, and it will definitely ship on February 4th. They described the work that they're putting into polishing the game right now to bring it up to the standard they feel their fans deserve, so unless something catastrophic happens, we can pretty much lock that one in. The only actual delay announcement this week was for Saints Row, delayed from its February release date to August 23rd. Anyone paying attention would have seen this one coming from a mile away, as Saints Row was launching in the same window that Sifu was clever enough to avoid. As beloved as Saints Row might be, this reboot isn't generating the hype the developer had hoped for, so a bit of breathing room is surely a good thing. To be clear, they did state in their delay announcement that they will not be revisiting any of the characters or story elements, so this is not in response to that. This is just more dev time to finish and polish the game, and not get creamed by releasing the same day as Elden Ring. Very smart. So what came out last week, aka the review roundup? Well, not only did Riot conclude their amazing Arcane this week, and not only did they provide a huge update on future games, but they also released 2 games this week. The first was HEXTECH Mayhem, which is a short rhythm-based 2D side-scroller. Reviews on this one were quite middling, with it sitting at around 70% mostly positive on Steam. The other game was Ruined King. Now, this one is from Airship Syndicate, founded by Joe Madureira, the guy who created Battle Chasers and co-created Darksiders. They recently put out the extremely well-received isometric Darksiders Genesis, and now they're back at it with a meaty RPG set in League of Legends' Runeterra. It combines isometric exploration and turn-based combat. It was shadow dropped this week to a strong reception, currently sitting at 84% very positive on Steam, with very few critic reviews out yet because apparently the game is like 30 hours long, so I imagine reviewers are still making their way through it. Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1 hit a bunch of platforms this week as well, and it got okay reviews. It's sitting at 74 on OpenCritic, 80% very positive on Steam. GameSpot scored it a 7, saying, quote, Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1 stumbles at times, but solving its fantastic cases scratches that investigation itch like few others try, end quote. Last big release of the week was Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, the remakes of the Nintendo DS entries in the most revenue-generating IP in the history of IPs. Apparently, these remakes are fine. 77 on OpenCritic, no major complaints, but no real reason to buy them unless you're a die-hard Pokemon fan, which a lot of people are. What I found funny is that pirates hacked the ROM and discovered that Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are actually the same ROM. There's just a flag in it that you can toggle to change the game from one to another. There has never been a more perfect demonstration of what an absolute scam Pokemon's dual release system has always been. Anyway, Pokemon is going to be the best-selling game of November. I'm calling it now. So, what's coming out this week? Well, it's a known fact that most games are out by mid-November, and this coming week is proof positive because there is nothing new coming out at all. There are 2 ports though. First up is the excellent Death's Door, which was previously on Xbox and PC, but it will make its way to PlayStation and Switch today. Love to see that because this title sort of feels right at home on the Switch actually. If you haven't checked this out yet, then I strongly recommend doing so. I didn't love it as much as many others, but this is a brilliantly put together Zelda-esque action-adventure with one of my favorite soundtracks of the year. I'll leave a link to my review in the description below. The only other release is Oddworld Soulstorm, arriving on the 29th for Xbox since it was previously only available on PlayStation and PC. It's about to get an update actually, which is kind of weird. It sort of changes some stuff, but they haven't really said what stuff it changes, so it's kind of confusing. Either way, this one didn't launch super strongly, and the reviews are a little mid. Feels like this one is a good fit for Game Pass, so I recommend waiting until it hits there, which I'll bet big money it eventually will. Put this on your radar. This is LEN'S Island, the debut game from Australian developer Flow Studio. Wherever LEN'S Island is, it certainly isn't Australia. There's not nearly enough native fauna trying to kill him, so I'm guessing this is set in New Zealand or something. LEN'S Island is edging us one step closer toward that perfect video game, the one that combines the gathering, cultivation, and trading of Stardew Valley, with the building and exploration of Valheim, with the combat-based dungeoneering of, well, Valheim, but it's really not very good in Valheim. The first game to provide all 3 of those things in perfect harmony will win the grand prize, all the money. LEN'S Island seems to be taking a strong swing at that pot of gold, with its Steam Next Fest demo being extremely well received, making it one of the darlings of the festival, and the recent trailers looking absolutely superb. I love what this is aiming to do, and I'm so happy to know that talent like this exists on our great southern land. LEN'S Island is releasing in early access this week, the 27th of November in fact. I'll leave a link to the Steam page below. Sort of free stuff time now, and we are in the penultimate week of the month, so it's slow going this time around. Epic kick us off as always. Right now you can still grab Guild of Dungeoneering, Kid A Amnesia, and Never Alone, but on the 26th you'll be able to get $15 worth of gems for some retro arcade compilation. I thought most retro compilations were just $15 full stop, but apparently we're doing gems for them now. Okay then. The other is Hunter, Call of the Wild, a game where, and I'm basing this on the box art, you play as either a deer, a bear, or a boar, and you hunt miniature humans. That sounds like fun. I'd play that. Game Pass gets its monthly refresh soon, and it's an okay month, though it certainly doesn't hold a candle to some of the bangers we've had in the past. Dead Space and Dragon Age Origins both make their way to xCloud, which is nice. Evil Genius 2 reviewed very strongly, and it arrives for cloud, console, and PC. EXO 1, this is the one I spoke about earlier. I love this. I absolutely recommend it to you if you like flow state games. It hits consoles, PC, and cloud. Mortal Shell is the other one that really stands out. This is a Souls-like that released a little while back to critical acclaim, and the developers have continued to update the game with new content and mechanical refinements. Might be a good one to fill the void while we all patiently wait for Elden Ring. Finally, a bumper offering from Ubisoft this week. Right now, you can get your hands on Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, totally free of charge, no strings attached. I'm not exactly sure why they're giving this away for free. I'm hoping it has something to do with the leaked Splinter Cell project we talked about a few weeks back. but I highly doubt that since that feels like it would be a long way off from now. Regardless, can't look a gift horse in the mouth. This is available through Ubisoft's launcher, so do some Googling and you should find it without too much trouble. Guys, it's been a long episode, so I just want to say very quickly, you stink. It's actually not me saying it quickly, it's Sonic, because he's fast and he says things quickly, and also because he has a cologne now and he wants you to buy it. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, or just gentlemen really, ladies you have to sit this one out I think. Sega this week unveiled their new range of colognes, featuring scents from Shenmue, Yakuza, and Sonic. Just looking at Kiryu's svelte frame and impeccable dress sense, it was clear that he'd have an irresistible bouquet to him. Well now, you too can make ladies swoon as you waft past them, and other dudes tremble as your alpha pheromones assert their dominance in your surrounding airspace. If you're more classically trained, you may prefer the Shenmue fragrance, though this smells more like diesel exhaust pumped from the back of a forklift, so this is more of a Manchester or a Michigan scent. I'm actually thinking of buying this, like for my family members, just like giving it to them unironically, like here's some Sonic cologne, and they're just filming their reactions. That'd be like, what the fuck is this? Anyway, guys, I can't believe we did it. We made it to the end of another This Week in Video Games, the 6th last of the year by my count. We haven't missed a week yet, and the show continues to grow. Last week's episode hit over 300,000 views for the first time ever, and I really appreciate that, so thank you for tuning in, and thank you for coming back time after time. If you want to see that 300k record get smashed, then the best thing you can do to help is hit the like button on the video, since I guess hitting the dislike button doesn't do shit anymore. Thanks, YouTube. Luckily, the subscribe button still works, as does the notification bell sometimes, so ding that if you want to know when the next video is live. I'm telling you right now, I'm reviewing Psychonauts 2 this week, for no other reason than I just want to, so that's what I'm gonna do. I don't care how late it is, I'm gonna review Psychonauts 2, so please look forward to that one. Okay gamers, one last thing before we go, and it's important. Do you ever look at your pile of shame and think, it could be bigger? Well, your time has come because this week is Black Friday week and Green Man Gaming are having their biggest sale of the year with over 4,000 titles discounted, some of them as much as 83% off. If you haven't heard of Green Man Gaming before, then you have been missing out. I've been buying stuff from them for years because they always offer excellent prices on PC titles, but they're not a grey market key reseller. Every single key they sell has been sourced directly from the publisher themselves, so there's no scammy stolen keys that end up getting cancelled weeks or months after you've bought them. It's 100% legit, all the money goes directly to the publishers and the savings go directly to you. And these are some chunky savings by the way, so let me walk you through my sale picks, stuff I really recommend because the games are good and the prices are right. First up, The Ascent, top quality isometric co-op shooter, stunning visuals, plays beautifully, 45% off. Borderlands 3, not even Randy could ruin this one, 78% off. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, now I do not like this one, but a lot of people do, so if you want to make up your own mind about it, it's 58% off right now. Days Gone for PC. I was one of the few people that gave Days Gone a positive review. I think it has a hell of a lot going for it and the PC port is excellent. It's 38% off. Outriders. Apparently they fixed the bugs that were plaguing the game at launch and they just dropped a huge new patch which people are loving. That's 67% off. Those are just some of the specials that are live right now. Green Man Gaming have also told me that Game of the Year candidates like Deathloop and Resident Evil Village and Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy are also going on sale in the next few days, as will a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's worth checking back each day to see which new discounts are popping up. Over 6 million people have purchased games from Green Man Gaming over the years. That's a lot of people. Green Man have over 9,000 games in their library. That's a lot of games. And a lot of those are on sale right now. Like I said, our pile of shame can never be too high, so pile it sky high with the Green Man Gaming Black Friday sale by clicking the link in the description below. Thanks Green Man for sponsoring the video, and thank you for watching it. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down so I know to do better for next time. If you enjoyed yourself, consider subscribing, and if you really enjoyed yourself, maybe consider hitting that notification bell so you never miss a video. You can see my patrons here on the left. They're awesome. They're amazing. If you want to join them, check out my Patreon page. Thank you again. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.